That's going to work all that rotator cuff in the posterior of the shoulder.
What about like punching? If you have like the long cable thing for punching, like
It's not going to work rotator.
no. What does that work then?
Deltoids. Anterior deltoid and a little bit of the lateral. Yeah. Rotator cuff does this. That's its second job. It rotates the arm in the shoulder joint.
That's the sits muscles, the superciliaris.
Sits, yep. Sits. Yep. Sits muscle is what they call it too. Yep. That's what it does. This is what it does. Now it's interesting about the rotator cuff. It's one of the only muscles in the body that the range of motion is determined by the strength of the muscle. Most of your range of motion is determined by flexibility of the joint. But the rotator cuff is determined by the strength. The stronger your rotator cuff is, the greater range of motion you'll get here. More secure, the stronger it is. So you want to work that separately from your deltoid. So cable, cross cable, resistance tubing, anything, if you're going to do a weight, you've got to be on the ground. So you've got to have gravity. So if I'm going to use a barbell, I've got to be on the ground. And I've got to have this resistance to lift this way. Does that make sense?
And you want to do a full range, right?
You want to go as far as is comfortable. You don't want to go to the point where it starts to pull too hard, because you can rip your rotator cuff.
And you want your elbow against your waist?
Yes, absolutely.
Keep it there. Yeah.
If this goes away from your waist, you're using your deltoid. Correct. It's all about form. Form, when it comes to weightlifting of all kinds, is the critical part. It doesn't really matter how much you lift. It doesn't really matter how many reps you do. If the form sucks, you're not getting the benefit of it. And most people's form sucks because, again, your body's going to find a way to cheat. Don't let it cheat. Talk to somebody about form. I obviously can't go through all the resistance training exercises today, but get some help on those.
Now, when you're talking about lifting weights for endurance, as you progress, and you need to increase the weight and increase repetitions.
Increase the repetitions and decrease the resting time between the repetitions. So, if I'm doing, let's say you're doing 90 pounds for endurance on your chest, you're pressing 90 pounds, it's not really a lot of weight. You're going to do a full 20 reps, and ultimately you'll go to a point where there's no rest. You'll do 20, catch a breath, do 20, catch a breath, do 20, catch a breath. You'll start off no more than 30 seconds between sets when you're doing endurance training. 30 seconds maximum. Instead of increasing the weight, decrease the resting time between the sets. So you can do it that way. You can do the 20 with a low weight, or you can do time under load. Time under load, some people like, you don't count reps. When we count reps, we're just, when a trainer counts reps on somebody, we're just keeping track of time, trying to time how much stress we're putting that muscle under. You can go the 90-second route. There's a lot of people, I've done both. They both work pretty well. The 90 seconds is where you really build up lactic acid burn. So if you want to feel that.
You just keep going until you hit.
You just keep lifting.
Until you hit DMF, total muscle failure.
No, you shouldn't hit muscle failure on endurance training. No muscle failure.
Okay.
You should be able to keep going.
But it's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt bad. You're going to want to stop. You're going to want to stop. And I see people do stop when it starts to burn. Lactic acid is a product of anaerobic activity of the muscle. And you can actually train. It's good to train into that lactic acid burn because you can build up your resistance to it. You can build up your resistance to lactic acid. Your body can start converting lactic acid into fuel because it's lactic. It's a form of glucose. The body can use that for fuel. And it increases your pain threshold. It literally increases your pain threshold. You're able to resist more pain if you work through that lactic acid burn. And believe me, what most people feel the next day after you've done lifting is that soreness. We call that delayed onset muscle soreness. There's still a debate about what it is. I've never heard a definitive answer. Some people think it's microfichial tears in the muscle, the surface of the muscle, that's causing some inflammation. That's just one example. That's not definitive by any means. We don't really know what it is. We know it's not harmful. Lactic acid burn will go away almost immediately when you stop. It should subside immediately. If it doesn't, you've learned something. But it should go away immediately. But it hurts. I mean, it will make you cry. The first time you feel a real lactic acid burn, it's painful. It just sucks. So Yeah, high reps, low weight. Again, you can do time under load. You can do the 90 seconds of endurance. 3 sets. Okay, you want to do 3 sets. Time between doing these exercises. This is about letting your body recover. You develop the strength, whether it be endurance or true strength or power, in the recovery phase of lifting, not during the lifting. You can go 4 days between lifting and get maximum benefits that way. So, no more than 5 days apart. I only lift 2 days a week. I lift on Mondays and I lift on Fridays. And that's it. I do all my lifting on Monday, I do all my lifting on Friday. All of it. And it takes me about 30 minutes to do all my lifting. But I give myself 4 days between, because the more rest I get, the more results I will get, the better results I will get. That's more time. As I rest between those 2 sets, I see this increase. As soon as I lift again, I start over. So if I go every other day, I'm constantly interrupting the recovery process, and I'm not giving my body time to generate healthy new tissue in response to that.
Can you start weight training at the same time you start your base training?
Yep, no problem. Start
Still lift on Friday if you're going to fight something that you care about that weekend?
Yep. Still do.
Would that interval increase as you age due to how long it takes you to recover?
Nope, no difference. Age and resistance training almost has no effect on resistance training, except that as we age, we lose muscle mass. But they've done studies between a 20-year-old and a 70-year-old, and respective to their age, in other words, respective to the amount of muscle mass they have at that time in their lives, they got the same results in the same amount of time. There's no difference in the results they got. None. So, doesn't matter. No. In fact, as you age, you should really make lifting a priority. Particularly ladies. Lifting is critical for women as they age. Yeah, it fights osteoporosis. You can take all the calcium supplements in the world. It won't do you any good if you're not weightlifting. You have to do resistance training to metabolize the calcium you take. Otherwise it won't work. You're just, as we say, you got expensive pee.
Kind of a selfish question. Labral tears. Is there any shoulder exercise you can do to try to prevent labral tears, or is that just bad technique that causes labral tears?
It's mostly bad technique, but when you start, it's this. When guys are doing shoulder presses, okay, when the guys are doing lateral raises, they'll do this. And they'll throw that way up above their head, okay? As soon as this elbow goes above this joint is now under maximum stress. The leverage is more than it can bear. At the very least, I'm going to end up with a shoulder impingement. And when you fight, you go like this and you feel that, I've got shoulder impingement now. You feel that click in your shoulder. That is the top, the head of your humerus, right? Hitting your acromion process. It's sliding up and clicking on the point of your collarbone. And that's not a good sign. That's something you want, that's a warning sign saying,
That's a lot. I never noticed that before.
great! Well, nothing else to worry about.
I was pretty positive I tore my labrum just from bad
Yep.
shot throwing.
Yep.
So I was just
Keep
wondering if
going,
there's any
keep
shoulder-
going.
Yeah, you're
It's happening in
bad.
my shoulder. I want to hear more. I don't like train that out or prevent for anything.
Once you got it, okay. Impingement, it's a ligament problem. It's a problem with the ligaments. Ligaments connect bone to bone. Once the ligament's stretched, it's stretched. And nothing sort of surgery is going to bring it back. Ligaments are very non-vascular. Okay? Tendons are highly vascular. That's why tendons, when you tear a tendon, it hurts so bad and it goes nice and ugly and bruises, but it's going to heal. Torn ligament hurts so bad because the bone's grinding against itself. It's not actually the ligament you're actually feeling. It's very non-vascular. They don't heal very well. So, strengthen with muscles. Add that extra support. Shoulder exercises done with good form. Lateral raises are the best, but lateral raises that high and no higher. You see guys doing this all the time, or even a little bit above. Just come parallel to the floor. Every physical therapist in the world will tell you not to go higher than this. There's no, once you start coming up, you do not want weight in your hands. Nothing over 5 pounds, 10 pounds, like that. That's going to start aggravating that shoulder. So start building up that shoulder muscle. 2 sets, 8 to 10 reps, or time under load should get to failure in under 60 seconds. So you want to lift to failure in the shoulders. You want to lift to the point where you can't lift anymore. I will do 8 reps on my shoulder. If I don't fail within 8 reps, I increase the weight.
those machines in the gym where you can go like this.
Those are okay. Realize though,